know.
Welcome back, my beautiful Tater Nation. It's me, of course, your friendly neighborhood potato, broadcasting from just beneath the soil, where roots still matter and families still mean something. Let me get this turned off here. Just keeps going there. Gotta love our moms, right? All right, so let's see. And you know, us potatoes, we have lots and lots of eyes. We like watching all the interesting things that humans do up top, right? And of course, today, our motivational quotes. The strongest walls protecting a child are often not made of bricks or law, but love, attention, and a mother who truly knows her child. And of course, Bruce Lee quote, the key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. Today's conversation is not going to be about attacking working mothers, but giving praise to the mothers that sacrifice everything to stay at home. And of course, it's not about pretending fathers are unimportant, because fathers matter deeply too. But because today is Mother's Day, we want to celebrate our mothers. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Thank you very much, Marcelary. You were in amongst the first second, it looks like. Dave was the first. Please smash the like if you would, please, guys. And Chaos Theory, thank you very much for being here. Happy Mother's Day. And Apprentice, thank you very much. Welcome, Mashers. Like, subscribe, and share if you would, please. All right. So I'd like to talk about a few different topics as normal. Be starting off with a clip from let's see. I'll be starting off with a clip from John Steele. I'll be starting to feature some of his material, and then I'll jump into some statistics about the public school system and daycare system and how important it is for mothers to be at home for their kids. Marcelary says, as someone whose mother was and still isn't a motherly mother or present mother, I struggle for a long time with forgiving her and moving forward one day. Sorry to hear that. I have similar experience with my dad. Dave says, happy Mother's Day to all those mamas. Please join the Discord if you haven't already. We're always looking for new members. If you're not part of the Discord, it's always popping. Always a good time in there. Marcelary's neighbor she was talking about orthodoxy and the struggle with my mom. And he said, honor thy mother and father several times. And I was like, dang, man, you're right. Yeah, it's kind of rough sometimes. And that changed our relationship, and I'm forever grateful for it. That's good. Yeah, I like I said, I struggle with my dad. We've made somewhat amends, but it's never great when you're struggling with your parents, especially. So as normal, I have an error message on my internet saying that there's not enough keyframes. Supposedly getting enough internet speed, so we'll see if it holds through. But it's pretty much normal these days, so I'm not necessarily too surprised. All right, so let me get into something funny, as we would probably come to accustom to my streams. I like to start off with something funny. Did my motivational quotes. Since it's Mother's Day, we'll start off with this one here. This I found funny. It's obviously chickens being voiced over by someone.
Mother's Day is the day when the least amount of crime is committed in the United States, and I think that says a lot about how many moms are out there committing crimes but can't today because they're at brunch with their kids, you know?
That explains a lot. they're at brunch with their kids, so they can't be committing crimes, right? Hey, Abe Dinkus, good to see you, man. If anybody is in the chat that doesn't know that Abe has his own channel, most of you probably do, but he does have his own channel. Definitely check him out. Give him some love. Thank you very much for the engagement, Abe. And as always, that freaking picture is dope. Good to see you, buddy. All right. So that was funny. Mom, stop committing crimes. This was funny. This whole poor old bastard. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, but I did it. All right. So, let's see.
Listen, forklift.
So obviously he just came off of this lift here, has a tether that comes from him, and he's getting onto a vehicle and about to drive away.
I feel you, man. Nothing worse than becoming the pun of all the office jokes for the next week. And I feel you, man. It takes 6 cups of coffee to get your brain going.
He just gives up right there. I'm done.
Your mistakes, you just can't live them down.
I'm getting paid. I don't think you get paid for your own stupidity, though. So with it being Mother's Day, I do love y'all, but this I found fucking hilarious. Sorry, pardon my French, but this was funny. So let me get this turned up, not be a boomer about it.
There. Not that I'm shocked. I'm not saying women cannot drive or they curb wheels all the time or anything like that. I'm definitely not saying that they're not as good at drivers as us. I'm not saying that we're better. I'm just saying I'm shocked.
Wow.
Oh, they're following the kid.
They're following the pace truck. They follow the pace truck.
No way.
all 11 moms follow the pace.
Every single one of the female drivers followed that pace truck through the dugout, through the whatever it may be there. And so that they couldn't actually do the race, they had to guide them back onto the track, guide them back around. And I guess they did it twice from what the header of the video says. So that I found hilarious. I love you ladies. I do. But apparently you follow too well. I don't know. This was this is done by Cracker Milk. I'm not sure if that's a what that's about. I would hate to have a milk cracker, cracker in milk. That would be weird. But this is on Facebook, so maybe it's not the greatest YouTube. But anyway, long story short, they don't say that on here at least. So this group is hilarious though. I've been watching a bit of their material lately, just because it's been on my algorithm. But this is labeled "When You Miss Your Delivery Date."
Thanks for coming out to help out today, Goob. I really appreciate it.
Of course, you're pregnant. When are you due?
Well, actually, delivery's expected for today, so it's pretty funny actually, because I haven't...
Looks like we missed you. We'll be taking your package to our local delivery center.
Mother... Hey! Stop! I was home!
Oh my gosh, this is terrible, but it's fucking hilarious. On Mother's Day. Sorry guys, it's funny.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Oh, sorry, that was funny. Peach on a Leash says, my dad does dirt track racing. This is really funny to me when the females went through the dugout. Yeah, that was funny. Apprentice, took me a second to get my PC pulled up. Sorry, Mr. President. Oh, well, we appreciate you posting it. Hey, Real Rain, good to see you, man. Good to see you. It's been a while. Hope everything's well. Good to appreciate the engagement in the chat. Vosh Schmidt, happy Mother's Day to all of the good mothers out there, and may the bad ones have the day they deserve. Oh, sevens. Good to see you, Vosh Schmidt. Appreciate the engagement. And of course, as always, hit the like, subscribe, and share if you would, please. All right, so on with the funny. Just because I have a lot this time. This guy, I've seen this a couple times and I've been meaning to save it, and so I'm glad I was able to finally save it. This is crazy. He created a speaker, and it probably plays copyrighted music, so I'm not necessarily going to turn the sound up on this one. But this, like, you can hear the ticking and everything. Like, the ones that didn't know dial-up probably don't know what I'm talking about, but when you had somebody calling in or whatever, that ticking that would happen before it would, yeah, this speaker does that shit. Crazy what this guy, I mean, that is realistic, and he's even got the DI tag on it. Great stuff there. All right, let's see. This is funny. I don't know. Let me get into something else here. This is actually pretty comical.
Doing what I love.
This is on Mother's Day and feminism and all that good jazz. So this is what feminism is: one women, right?
Element, doing what I love. I genuinely enjoy my work and my workplace. I'm in my dream job, and it's better than I imagined.
It's better than she imagined, huh? How many ladies out there are in their dream job and it's better than you could have imagined, right? All right. So let me pull up this. So this is John Steele, Big John Steele on YouTube. I have been given the permission to cover his material. I do like to get permission before I cover material, unless I see the material is being covered by other streamers and they don't seem to have that big of a problem with it being covered. I did get permission from this gentleman here, so I would like to advise people to go check his channel out. Good creator, has some good takes, does some debates, a lot of debates. I think most of his stuff is debates. And then on Mother's Day, since it is Mother's Day, we'll be talking about the Shishmortion topic, right? You guys know me. Real Rain says Brian Shapiro would say mothers working on Mother's Day is empowering. I'm sure he would. Brian Shapiro, that's such a character there. Better? There we go. Gotta love it when my mic goes out, don't you? Marshall Larry says, I work my dream job, mother and homemaker. It's better than I ever imagined. You lucky dog. And that's good. I'm glad that you were able to find your, able to work your dream job. Not every woman can. And we'll be talking about that as well. But, all right. So if you haven't checked out Big John, shoot, I don't think I dropped it in the description. It's been a day, guys. So I'll get that into the description below. But if you Big John Steele on YouTube, if you want to go check him out. But we'll check this video out here real quick. Hey, Heaven Maxed. Appreciate you. I appreciate the engagement. Lurking and listening in the back. I appreciate the view. That's all that really matters. But I really appreciate you saying something so I can shout you out. All right, so we'll go ahead.
I joined a pro-choice panel.
Get into this here.
And asked what I thought was a very simple question. What is the morally relevant difference between a fetus and a child? Within minutes, the fetus was a whale.
What?
And I was
What? A whale? Like, this gets wild, guys. Like, I don't know if I've ever thought of the fetus as anything but a living human being, even when I was a young kid, not knowing what, but I grew up in religion. So there's something that I have to say, or there's only so much that I can say there. But anyway, we'll get back into this.
just some Philbro with
take his Philibro tiny dick somewhere else.
I mean, you could be right once in a while.
Okay.
And apparently I was cutting off femme-sounding people too much, even while my mic was muted. Now here's the issue. If your entire view on abortion hangs on the difference between a fetus and a child, but the only relevant difference between them that you can come up with is where they are located, can you really justify the ending of the life? In this video, we try to break that down and try to ask the question that nobody on the panel actually wants to answer. What, if anything, changes morality at birth? By the end of the video, you're going to see exactly why location, insults, and new buzzwords like femme-sounding people don't solve any of the real issues, and what a serious moral argument about abortion actually has to deal with. Let's get into it.
Big John.
Hello. How are you guys?
Please.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Great. May we have your age? May we have
Yeah, I'm 34.
You're all right, Chaos. I appreciate the lurking. I know you've been busy, so the fact that you're even with us today is much appreciated. Everybody, of course, as always, I appreciate you guys. Heaven Max says, I personally have an issue with, but nothing with the argument of or clips, but watching his, Big John Steele, there we go. But watching his actual live streams make me think he's less genuine. Oh, really? Interesting. Fair enough. Yeah, it's the what I've seen of his material, there's some things that I'm just like, that's an interesting take, or how you said that. But then it's into tone policing, and I want to be careful with tone policing, obviously. All right, let's see.
And how does a woman getting an abortion affect you?
Yeah, so it affects me in like the same way that like my neighbor unaliving his child affects me. I think it's a moral wrong and we shouldn't do it.
So how does me getting abortion in whatever state I live in affect you in whatever state you live in?
The same way like I'd say that you shouldn't just like unalive somebody walking down the street affects me.
So you're just okay with going, oh, okay, that person had an abortion, so I'm going to go cry about it in my bedroom?
Yeah, I do think it's pretty abhorrent. We shouldn't do it. We shouldn't be unaliving children. Like, I think you would agree with that, right? Like,
I think children aren't in the uterus.
Okay, what's in the uterus?
Children are born.
What's in the uterus?
It would be called a fetus.
Is in the uterus.
Okay, what is a fetus?
An unborn
mammal.
An unborn mammal, but they don't want to say what it really is because then it destroys their whole position. I don't understand how you can sit here and say it's alive, it's a living thing, it is replicating cells, which means it is progressing in life, but yet it doesn't deserve the right to continue with said life. Doesn't make sense to me.
Unborn, what kind of mammal, of what species?
We're not playing those obtuse games. We're all adults here. We've all taken biology class.
I'm not going to lie. That was kind of funny. It's a giraffe. I don't know if they were trying to be funny or if that was actually a serious answer. But then it devolves into, it's a whale, because then she gave the other one an opportunity to latch on to something, I guess. But that was pretty fucking funny.
If you want to ask obtuse and absurd questions, I'm going to give you obtuse and absurd answers. It's a fucking...
How's it obtuse, right? It's a human, right?
It's a whale.
It's a whale? So, okay, I mean, you genuinely believe it's a whale inside the womb?
Questions I'm going to give you, if you're going to...
Why would you go to that particular example? It's a whale. Did you just call yourself a whale? Is that what just happened there, guys?
Ask ridiculous questions, I'm going to give you ridiculous answers. Are you really going to sit up here?
So hold on. So
species is it? Well,
so you think it's a whale in the womb?
It's human and alive. So
you think it's a whale in the womb? So don't.
And then all of a sudden it just pops out a baby. It pops out a human after being whale in the womb. What the fuck? Like, seriously, I don't really know. You know, this is probably an extreme case. This is probably something that doesn't get taken and run with, for example. But anytime that somebody says this kind of slop online, again, not this particular case, but this is an extreme one. But anytime that this kind of crap gets said online, people take it and they run with it. Oh, I heard that somewhere in the grapevine, right? And now it's truth. It becomes reality to them. And then they start to preach it as if it's reality, right?
Whales give birth to whales, so are you calling yourself a whale?
To humans. So like,
it's not special
like,
to human beings.
You're being ridiculous.
Okay, so it's a human, right?
And yeah, whales are mammals, so a fetus can.
So what's the definition?
So the fetus can be a whale? Is that what she's trying to get at here? Like, this is wild.
And what is the definition of a child?
A whale, fetus.
A definition of a child is a prepubescent
But
human.
we all know
I'm gonna
it's
drop.
human. We all know it's alive. What are you trying? What point are you trying to make?
Well, that it's a living human being.
Yeah, we all know it's alive. What point are you trying to make? What point do you think I'm trying to make? You're a rational adult, right? So how is it so hard to comprehend what John is trying to get through to you? Honestly. This is the kind of stuff that we need to be starting to do more of and push back against this kind of concept. Going into their spaces and debating with them one-on-one, whatever the case is. I'm trying to bring them to me. Again, on Thursday evenings, I do have the open panels discussions, right? They're not heated so that we can try to bring in the more logical, more cool, calm, and collected thinkers and people to speak their mind. So if you know of anybody that wants to speak their mind, please, by all means, let them know that we do have open panels on Thursday evenings for anyone to join and be part of. Hey, Blood Logos, good to see you. Appreciate the engagement, man. Good to see you. Let's see. Marcel says it is abhorrent if she would become educated and apply the concepts that help the autistic child able to cope with having to leave places, not getting a toy, whatever it may be. They eventually gain some, if not complete, coping skills, and that's fair. Yeah, we need more. Again, this episode is, Happy Mother's Day. We're trying to get women back to being able to stay at home, being willing to raise the next generation, being more involved in their children and that next generation.
And it's a child by definition, so I don't think we should unalive it.
Have a good day, Spicy.
Bye, Spicy. I'll see y'all later.
How come
Have
I
a
was
good day,
muted?
Spicy.
You too.
Okay, what did you guys hear? I don't know when you muted me.
They just randomly mute people for no reason. They just muted him while was Spicy or whatever it was that was leaving. Did she have access to the mute like everybody, and she muted him on her way out so she could speak over? Where I realized that this may not have been a debate panel. It may not be set up to where it's in good faith to begin with. We definitely need more good faith discussions, right? We need more people that are willing to speak to us. Again, like Vosh here says, join the Thursday panels. We need more good faith ops, more like Alter, right? If you haven't seen Alter on my channel, he does really good about taking it to the chin and being there the next time and accepting the dogpiling that we do against him, because I don't have enough ops in my channel, guys. We need more ops. All right, let's see. Marcelary, my younger daughter made me a Mother's Day picture on ChatGPT and printed it on photo paper, which was sweet. My oldest daughter did not, but she did call, so that's enough for me, honestly. That's good. I'm glad to see that you got something on Mother's Day, Marcelary. I'm really glad to see it. Real Rain, Alter is a good faith leftist. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys had an actual one-on-one debate at one point in time. And that was pretty good time. All right, back to this.
I wasn't the one that muted you, but I was telling you that if you ask a ridiculous question, you're going to receive a ridiculous answer.
Can you give me a criteria of what's like?
How is that a ridiculous question? Again, this is the things that we need to be pushing back against. Like on one of my episodes, I talk about how words become in the dictionary, right? Become a thing. In order for it to become a thing, we all have to agree upon it. I'm tired of being the silent minority, majority, whatever we are. I'm tired of being silent and letting them continue to change definitions of words. Definitions matter. semantics matter. We need to get back to the actual understanding of words.
A ridiculous question.
We all
so
know
I
it's human, and we all know it's alive. Move forward.
Right. So it's a living human.
So again, if it's alive and it's human, what ground do you have to stand on to say that you can unalive it without the repercussions of what it would be if it were to be outside of the womb?
Human child. I don't think we should kill a living human child.
No, it is a living human.
And that there, right there, I don't care. She said the quiet part out loud. They don't care. Whatever they have to do to justify their actions of getting rid of the accountability for their playtime. We've got to stop this, guys.
Human fetus.
It's a living human fetus.
What's the ontological difference between a fetus and a child?
A child yet.
Ontological difference. Now he wants to do ontological difference.
Oh, he can. I'm just going to move past that because he's one of those philibros, and he's just trying to wave and
yeah.
It's okay if you guys don't know the word. You can just ask me what the word means. I'll tell you.
No. I don't entertain that bullshit. You can wave your filibro dick somewhere else, and you can answer our questions. Otherwise,
in other words, you are too dense to have this conversation, is what you just said. Not John. You. You can't understand philosophy. You can't understand theocracy. So you're going to move past it because it's quote unquote bull. It's not how life works. You have to understand what separates them if you're going to try to separate them. And if you can't separate them, then they become one. And if they're one, then they are the same if you unalive it before or after it comes out of the womb. That alone is the end of the discussion as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Boschman, women versus accountability strikes again. Hey, Hardwire, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Appreciate the engagement. Let's see. All right, back to this for a second.
What is the difference?
yourself to those types of lies.
What is the difference
born,
between?
Is not.
Okay, so it's just geographical location.
I bet he's still talking and doesn't realize he's muted.
Again, with the muting, I really starting to see why Andrew pops that off as soon as he can. You mute, you lose. I don't deal with TikTok a whole lot. I don't know exactly where he is currently. I would guess that it's TikTok with the GIFs and things like that in the bottom corner here. But yeah, I don't know. I've never dealt with it, so.
Why do you guys keep muting me?
You know that whenever he overspeaks women, I'm gonna mute him. You're being disrespectful.
I'm sorry, I didn't assume you guys' gender. I didn't know you were women.
Good comeback. That's just it. Is how are we supposed to know who we're speaking to if you yourself are constantly jumping back and forth on what we're supposed to be doing? Are we supposed to assume your gender? Are we supposed to say that you're a woman before you tell us what you are? Are we supposed to ask for your pronouns before we even start talking to you? Which I'm not going to do. It's not going to happen. So what are you expecting us to do here?
That's fine. I'm just telling you now.
Okay, so now I know. So you give me grace from before because I didn't know that you're women before because you didn't tell me.
No. Just for the fact I'm telling you now.
Anyways.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to give you grace for before. What are you thinking? Wrong with you? Just got done grilling? Nice. Another shrimp on the barbie. That's right. Blood logos. I'd say I'm pretty far right, Heaven Max. Ah, fair enough. Pretty far right. Super far right or just pretty far right? I don't know how far right I am anymore. Let's see.
So, a child is born and a fetus is not.
Okay, so it's just geographical location.
And by that, I mean like I'm like super far right, maybe. I don't know. I'm like, I think somebody told me the other day, proto-conservative. You know, I'm proto-Tater, right? I'm the first speaking potato. I don't know, the first one you've come across, right? I'm sure there's other ones out there. But proto-conservative, right? I'm trying to conserve the original, what worked, not what we think works now. Because what are conservatives conserving these days? Really? I'm starting to wonder.
Another Phil Bro argument that we're not having with
location? You. Like what? You're
so it's just where it's physically located in the earth?
You're pleading to pregnancy by saying women can't abort, and we're pleading to pregnancy by saying we can make a choice for ourselves.
You can make a choice for yourself. Don't have intercourse. Plain and simple. No one is forcing you to do that, and if they are, then it's an illegal act, and they should be held accountable for it, and that's a whole other situation. But barring that, you're not being forced to do this stuff. You want to. You choose to. And once it happens, you're like, oh my gosh, you're forcing me to have this child. No, you had the choice before the consequences.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the difference between a fetus and a child is. You just told me where it's located.
I just told you, one is born, one is not.
Okay, so why is it being born gives you value of human life and not being born doesn't?
Because you're born.
That's circular.
How are you going to experience and live life until you're born, sir? Why do women have to sustain another being with their biology?
Yeah, it's called a parental duty. Same reason like a parent has to sustain a child that's born.
Parental duties kick in once it's born.
According to who?
No. Your parental duties kicked in the second that the conception happened. And if we would stop denying it, we would understand that our body is telling us that it is.
Men don't pay child support. Nobody pays child support on a fucking fetus. The fetus doesn't have a social security number. It doesn't have its own insurance. It doesn't have any type of established personhood.
Well, somebody is paying for the child support, whether it be the system, which is the taxpayers, it's the husband or the father of the fetus, whatever the case is. By paying the medical bills, you're paying child support. By feeding the mother, you're paying child support. So if we're paying them food stamps and all this other stuff, then yeah, the taxpayers, the system is paying child support on that fetus.
So men should absolutely pay child support for a fetus. What are you talking about?
So that one is going to be a real hard sell there, John. As far as man paying for the fetus, unless they're married, and even then, it's getting so much harder and harder to trust women. Without being able to do that DNA test, I don't know how much I want to push for men to be liable for the fetal area time frame. But if it comes out as yours, yeah, I think that you should have been paying the medical bills and things like that. Part of the reason why I don't have kids yet. I've never been able to afford to do any of that kind of stuff. But that's how I feel about it.
And go advocate for it.
I do advocate for it. I do think that father should have a parental duty as well.
Into parenthood. I don't think.
What are you doing to advocate for it?
And I don't think that we should be forcing women into parenthood.
Well, okay. So if you don't want to be parents, don't have sex.
Bingo. Oh my gosh, that's out of the realm of possibility. Tired of that excuse, guys. Really tired of this idea that you've got to have it. You got to have it. It's 2026. Nobody not has it no more. It's just not the case. Peach on a Leash says, I used to be pro-choice because I was programmed to believe that if it was made illegal, there would be all this malpractice leading to more passings. But I realized that that's dumb argument. Yeah, well, that's just it. Is they love that talking point, don't they? Though, love to say that it would just lead to more back alleys and things like that. Well, it's that is then up to the young woman that is taking that upon their choice. They all will always have the choice to fall down the stairs. It's never going to be something that we can take away from them, but please don't do that shit. But long story short, you should be held accountable for that kind of stuff. If we're allowing a doctor to do it and you don't know the extent of it, then maybe we should be holding the doctors more accountable for it, for not telling you the extent of it. But we've got to push back against this. The sysmortions or the fetus deletuses have got to stop. Period. End of discussion. It's why it's illegal to serve a pregnant woman alcohol in 20 states. It is considered child abuse. Thank you very much for that, Vosh. I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, Marcelary, exactly. If you don't open your legs and let dudes dump in you, you don't get pregnant. Shocker. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And if you do, just be ready for the consequences. Peach says, yeah, Vosh, why they get charged for double unaliving if they unalive a pregnant woman. And that's exactly it. We keep playing like it's not a person, but yet they get double homicide if it happens to a pregnant woman. Let's see, Abe. Yeah, the time we are living is so jacked up. So weird these days. Such a weird timeline. All right.
You think sex is you think procreation is the only reason for sex?
Well, that's the vast majority, right?
Sorry, you think married couples who had their kids in their early 20s and have decided they don't want any more should just live a life of celibacy for the rest of their lives?
Yeah, I think
if you don't want to have kids, then there are things that you can do to make it so that you don't have to have kids if you want to continue to be a 304 on out there. But we got to stop that kind of crap. Just plain and simple. Promiscuity in both men and women needs to end. Where I do understand the sides, I do understand where men are coming from when they say that men do it easier for them to come back from whatever. I don't agree with it. Men and women both need to stop the promiscuity. We need to get back to the family unit as much as possible and bring women back to the moral high ground that they had before they had the ability, quote unquote, ability to vote. Again, they were forced to vote. You don't have freedom anymore when you're just the voting block. When you're forced into either A or B, you don't get a real say in it. None of us really get a say in it because, like I've said before, if our representatives wanted to, they could just throw out our vote and do whatever they wanted to. What are we going to do? But it is up to us to trust those advisors, trust those above us, trust those that are in control of those votes to vote the way we ask them to vote. And if they're not, we need to be getting them out of office in any way, shape, or form. Hardwire says, sad that any woman would want to abort or unalive their child. You know, almost all parents didn't plan to have their kid, and they didn't have a lot of money. And they wouldn't trade parenthood for anything. Yeah, I've never been a rich person, but if I were to ever actually have a kid, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Even if you know, I got money for it or whatever. Vote harder, guys. yeah. And remember, we vote with our dollars. Remember, whatever company you use your money for is going to prop one or the other up, or however they do it, right? We want to be supporting our people. So if you find a group, if you find a streamer, right, that is what you're along the lines of and are speaking what you want to hear, remember to try to help them out as much as you can. Like, subscribe, share their stuff out. If there's anything that you can donate, you can contribute to the causes, right? We do need to be helping as many of them as we know are good. But we've got to be careful because mainstream media got their footing because we gave our money to the wrong places. So again, like Blood Logos is saying, vote harder. And I'm telling you, go with your dollars. Make sure you're giving the money that you have to spare to those places, those companies, those people that really are trying to push that message like they should be.
I think that's the better option rather than unaliving an innocent human being.
You're a joke, and I have nothing more to say to you because this
and here we go.
Circular.
Well, now we're going to bring in the innocent, and he doesn't understand that a fetus cannot be innocent or guilty.
Oh my God! And then there's this argument. Then they try to pull the amoral. A fetus is not innocent or whatever. It is amoral. It can't be innocent because it's amoral. That was sarcasm, Potato. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, but I do understand where you're coming from, but seriously, we need to be making sure we're voting the right way. And when we go to that voting booth, it's not always the right way. We also have to be voting with what we do on a daily basis and what we pay for every day. Heaven Max says, as a single father that has kids with a single mother, don't need to say it. It was free money for her when the dad would pay child support. Fair enough. Yeah, exactly, Apprentice. Blood Logos, but not all wrong, right? It might have been sarcasm, but it wasn't a wrong statement. We do need to be making sure we're voting as much as we can, as hard as we can, whatever you want to call it, right?
Okay, what's the definition of innocent?
Amoral.
What's the definition of innocent?
No, it is amoral. It does not. No, it is amoral because.
Okay, what is the definition of innocent?
It does not have the ability to be guilty or innocent.
So, what is the definition of an innocent?
Why don't you tell us?
So,
why should I have to tell you when you're arguing what isn't? You should have a definition if you're arguing that it isn't. If you don't know, don't argue. Just be like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And just move on.
Something that is innocent has not committed a crime. Has a baby committed a crime?
A baby has not had the chance to commit a crime. Therefore, it is amoral. It is not guilty or innocent.
It lacks the capacity. Right.
It lacks the capacity. So by definition, it's innocent.
So it's amoral. Absolutely not. It's amoral.
Okay, amoral.
Do you know what amoral is?
Yeah, amoral is the absence of like
if you are appealing to the legal system, you're not found innocent or guilty. You're found guilty or not guilty. You're actually never found innocent. And by that logic,
the legal system is you're innocent until proven guilty.
Speaking, thank you. And by that logic, a person who commits.
John. If you want to be good faith, don't piss them off. I'll probably do the same thing, unfortunately, but speaking, thank you. Come on. I mean, if you're going to be a strong, independent woman, you're going to get cut off. This is a debate. We've got to be able to get our points in when we got to get our points in. We've got to be able to interrupt. There's some interruptings that is going to be inevitable with debating. So if you can't take it, like an adult, don't be online trying to debate. Part of the reason why I haven't started to actually debate people, I just have my discussions where I can tell people to calm down.
Committed a crime, but was found not guilty, to you would not be a criminal, and that just doesn't make sense.
So the legal system is you're innocent.
Stop talking when I'm talking.
Stop talking when I'm talking.
Legal system is a joke.
So the legal system is you're innocent until proven guilty.
You said it. You said they're found.
I'm saying they're innocent. Yeah. So I'm just saying innocent.
You brought up John. I'm saying you brought up the legal system. Is that what you're appealing to?
No, I'm not appealing to the legal system. I'm saying innocent as in a moral aspect. Like they are not something that is justifiably killed. You cannot give me a justifiable reason.
Last warning to use TikTok safe language.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Right. So
he says it once. and they jumped all over that shit. Yeah, Dave, it's always the women with the tone policing. Yeah, I try hard not to tone police because I have a tone of my own. See, I'm a poet and I don't even know it, but my legs or my feet show it. Them longs, fellow. But yeah, I don't try to tone police as much as I can, but there are certain things that hit the ear wrong, right? And so I do understand where they're coming from. We also need to understand that we can only take offense. Offense can't be given, right? So just because it hits the ear wrong and I'm a pussy and I take it wrong, I guess it might not be wrong, right? To stay on YouTube, but I'm a wuss and I can't take it, right? I was brought up in the oil field, construction, things like that, so I can usually take it on the chin pretty well. But women are a little more sensitive. But if you can't take it, don't get online. Don't get into spaces where you're going to be getting some pushback.
Like you're looking for a reason to
tell
kick
me again what you mean by innocent.
That has not done something amoral or abhorrent.
Okay,
that justifies.
So you changed, wait. So you changed your definition because before you said that they didn't commit a crime. So now you're changing.
No, that when you were contesting the law, I was correcting you on the law. That wasn't my original case.
No.
Well, down in the comments,
Sir, when
Rocky,
you just redefined innocence, you then inserted the word amoral, and that is
okay. So
incorrect.
If we're just gonna get hung, if we're gonna hung up,
me in the comments. Hang
if we're
on
gonna
a
get hung
second,
up,
Big John.
am I ever gonna be allowed to speak
in the
or no?
comments that the unwanted fetus is trespassing and therefore it is no longer innocent.
So am I ever gonna be able to allow it to speak or no? Or are you just guys gonna cut me off every time I open my mouth and then mute me?
You cut off every single woman and femme-sounding person here every time they speak.
What the hell is a femme-sounding person?
You literally just did it.
So if I just talk more femme-sounding, then I won't get cut off as much?
And now you're done.
So if I just do, like, if I just talk more femme-sounding, then I won't get cut off as much?
And now you're done.
All right, John,
We're
it's
not
up
going
to
to be
you.
transphobic.
You're gonna
I was going to say, then you'll just be asshole.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
What you did.
Listen, I know you need a break. I need a break. So why don't we just take a second? And have a tiny dick is completely unrelated.
Jesus.
What did he
say? What did he say? Quite the place to start to back up on after his ad there. Yeah. So obviously they didn't like what he had to say. So there's another John in the background there that comes on and starts talking his piece, and they don't mute him nearly as much. But it's interesting. Hold on, the fetus is trespassing. Yeah, Peach on a leash. Exactly. They try to say that it's trespassing. It's like, dude, what did he say? No, I'm sorry, but you opened that gate up and allowed that swimmer inside. Let's just put it like that. It is not trespassing. You opened the door.
All right, go get him, John.
An abortion affect you? The way that affects me is because I think something immoral is being done. And if something immoral is being done, then as a society, we should actually speak out against that immorality.
Let's go, John.
And what makes your morality better than my morality?
That I have one and you don't, apparently, because you're willing to. You've admitted time and time again that this is a living being, that it is a human fetus, so thus meaning it is a human life, but you are willing to end it because you want to. Where's your morals? What would be the threshold breaker for you?
Well, I won't necessarily use the term better. I would just say more reasoned.
Well, no, that's what it boils down to, is it's better than what I believe.
Well, yeah, so I'm not going to say that it's better in like a quantitative sense, because I don't exactly know what moral system you're applying. But I will say this, if you're saying that a child in the womb or a fetus should be unalived, and you're using like normative language there is like that's something that should take place.
No one on this panel is saying that.
Hey, Pharmacat, good to see you. Appreciate the engagement. Hope you're doing well. As always, appreciate the picture popping up. Like your moose antlers. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
So you're not advocating for the pro-choice position where a woman can unalive a fetus in the womb?
Do you
That does not mean we are saying that women should have abortions.
We don't walk up to a woman and go, "Hey, you're pregnant. Oh, you should get an abortion." That's
No. I'm not saying in all cases. I'm not saying.
Well, that's what you said.
No. Let me just reword it. You're saying that it is morally permissible for a woman to have an abortion if she so chooses.
Correct. And what makes your morals morally superior to mine?
Yeah. So when we're talking about the type of thing that
we're not willing to unalive life, human life, at that, again, we're not talking about a single-celled organism on the planet Mars or whatever that we're having to build to keep from us passing away, so we need the property or whatever. We're talking about a human life. Why does your human life get to trump their human life after you chose to allow that gate to be opened? Allow that swimmer in.
Unalived, when we're talking about the fetus in the womb that's being unalived, I think it's going to be the case that, kind of like the previous guest, where a fetus is going to be qualified.
Although John never gets muted.
Human life.
John is so good at not getting muted.
Getting into the innocent or guilty again. We've already gone.
Wait, who's John again? John and John? John and John. Kind of confusing. Hardwire, I can't grill burgers, sausages, and steaks without a few drinks. Now I got to do my show half lit. Fun. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Hardwire does go live after I get done usually. So if you guys want to tune into his show after we get done, usually he goes live, and it sounds like he's feeling up to it this week, so he'll be live.
So I'm going to make
obviously, obviously you were here to hear it with the previous guests, so we're not doing that.
What was that? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just as a point of clarification, are you guys allowed to cut me off, but I'm not allowed to cut you off?
We are moderators on the panel, yes.
Well, of course we are. Because we're just much more important than you are. Again, like when I start taking callers and people into my show, I'm going to do my best not to mute them. We'll see how they do with their respect for my show, but I will do my best not to mute or kick people just simply because it's not a good look. But to sit there and interrupt your guests and ignore what they have to say, it's getting really old, guys. I'm seeing this a lot more and more, even with people that I used to admire, right? I don't like to see it. Hey, Homestead, appreciate the engagement. Was napping. Hey, it's your day, right? You're good. I appreciate the engagement more than I will ever be able to tell you guys. I appreciate you so much, but I don't expect you guys to be here. I just really appreciate it when you are. I appreciate the dropping of Hardwire's YouTube channel in the chat, Apprentice. If you guys don't know, or if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and go do that, and then come on back, or do it at the end of the stream. Whatever strikes your fancy. All right, we'll get back to this.
Okay, so, all right, great.
I'm going to do my best to try not to, but the other guy was just a dick.
So, well, I can't speak for him or
just say I'm a dick,
fans.
John. Just say I'm a dick.
So, but
yep, I'm not asking you to.
Okay, great. So let's just start the question here. What is the morally relevant difference? Like, what is the trait that exists with a fetus that does not exist within a child post-utero?
They are here breathing on this earth.
The other isn't.
What?
Okay, so let's go ahead and take that. So the morally relevant difference is that you are here breathing on this earth, like you've been born, right?
If there's only some way to avoid unwanted pregnancy.
So we have two scenarios, right? We're going.
Yeah, how hard would that be? Well, I mean, it might be hard, but it's a whole lot harder to avoid it than to deal with it for 18 years, right? This idea that we can just have our fun and not have any repercussions or accountability for it is it's really old. We need more mothers. We need more next generation. How many, a third of the generation has been fetus deleted, right? That's a lot of people. That's way too many people. Hardwire. Oh, yeah. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Let's just say we have a 20-week-old fetus.
Oh, here we go. We're going to hypotheticals again.
No. I'm not giving hypotheticals. This is like
their whole point is I'm right because I'm right.
Real life.
Hypotheticals. If you're giving me a scenario, that's literally a hypothetical.
No, it's not a hypothetical.
No, if I give you a something that happened in real life, that's history. That's not a hypothetical. That's reality. That happened. If he's setting up something that's happened over and over again, especially, that's not a hypothetical. Hypotheticals are something that don't actually happen, and you use them as a logic understander or logic tester.
I'm giving you a scenario that happens in real life. A hypothetical is going to be something that like doesn't happen necessarily in real life. It could happen, but it's not something indicative of what's happening.
Right on, Homestead. Enjoy your dinner. Again, happy Mother's Day, and catch up on the stream later. Appreciate the engagement while I was live. Appreciate the view later, and is for everybody else too. Drop comments in the comment section after it's loaded. It helps the algorithm a lot when you do that too. The likes and the subscribes and the shares help, but if you drop that comment, it shows that you really liked it enough to come back and drop a comment. So please, anything helps. Anything helps. Again, happy Mother's Day, ladies. All right. Yay, Shepherd's Nook. Late per usual. That's all right. Better late than never. Good to see you. And again, if you don't know, they have their own channel as well. All right.
Like, for example, it's not a hypothetical to say there are women who are pregnant with 20-week-old fetuses, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It's also not a hypothetical to say upon giving birth, right, you still have the fetus connected to the mother. The fetus is still gaining resources from the mother through.
That is incorrect because they are a separate physical being at that point.
No, but when do they become a separate physical being?
At birth.
Okay, what is it about?
No, at conception, considering the cells divide and a unique individual set of DNA is created at that point. They are two separate entities from conception. There's no need for it to be relieved from the body and the umbilical cord disconnected. That's all that connects them. That's not one person. That's two people with the connection of something, right? I appreciate the dropping of the apprentice. Appreciate that. If you don't know, Shepherd's Nook has their own channel. It's in the chat.
Birth, right? Because this is what the other guest was saying. It seems to be that there's just the location where you exist in the womb, inside of the woman, right? And then there's the extent in which you exit the woman. So if there's going to be this just distinction of geographical location, what is it about the being in question that actually is changing?
I forgot to tell them I was live streaming.
What did you not understand about?
I forgot to tell him I was live streaming 14 minutes and 39 seconds later after he's been kicked off. That's funny. I mean, it's good for him to share that information. I'm sure that it's a public space, so I'm pretty sure you can't expect privacy, but for him to be willing to let them know that he's live streaming and that they could potentially be seen by other people is pretty respectful of him for sure.
Green eggs telling the last person
inside of someone else.
So that is geographical location.
I don't care. Yes, it's geographical location. Women do not have to sustain the life of other beings with their biology.
Yes, they do.
By saying,
yeah, they do. Again, by choosing the act of intimacy, of carnal knowledge, as Brian on the Whatever podcast puts it. If you choose to do that action, you are allowing the potential of pregnancy. It is no longer forced upon you. The only thing that's forced is the lack of being able to do it safely and whatever, legally or whatever they want to consider it. We've got to stop this idea because the women, the mothers are extremely important. The next generation is extremely important to carry on what we have going in this country.
A woman can't abort, you are forcing her to.
Do you think they got the joke where I called her a whale?
With their biology.
Okay, but what we're asking is a morally relevant difference.
They called themselves a whale by saying it was a whale embryo, fetus, whatever it is. They called themselves a whale, John. All you were doing was just reaffirming the position, I guess.
So if I'm just saying the location is all that's changed.
Because I don't give moral significance to a fetus.
No. Well, one second.
Arbitrary.
So why is the location? Why is that something that is a morally relevant difference, considering it's an extrinsic thing, not an intrinsic thing?
It's in regards to actually using our bodily resources. And what you're talking about is the limited time that it takes for the birthed child.
Is Phil broing? Is just saying Phil broing just a way to get out of conversations now and arguments?
And that is
now. Wasn't that what it was started as? Is it a derogatory term to call a philosophizer? Right? You're a Phil bro. Because I can't understand philosophy, I'm going to degrade you because you can. Isn't that what it started as?
Is only like a second thing.
Get him, John.
So let me just repeat my question. If geographical location is an extrinsic property, right? But you're wanting to say that there's a morally relevant difference intrinsically in the type of being between a fetus and a baby that is born. What is going to be that intrinsic property? Because extrinsic
don't use the word intrinsic.
Those are not things
they don't like.
It's too big of a word. They can't understand it. Sorry.
That word moral value. So, for example, now this if I am in one room, right? That's a geographical location. If I walk into another room, it doesn't change anything about me being in that other room. The only thing that has changed is the geographical location. So a morally relevant difference cannot be an extrinsic property.
How is John
property.
so good at getting
a
people to
morally
listen
relevant
to him?
difference has to be an intrinsic property.
I got to start taking notes.
I already told
He didn't come on and start making fun of him. I'm just kidding, John. John and John. John and John.
you.
I mean, I don't care to like your morals are irrelevant to me. I don't really give a shit about your morals.
No,
exactly.
This isn't a moral discussion for me. This is not a moral discussion for me. I think it's more immoral to force a woman to sustain another life with her blood organs and tissues
come on, let me back
than
up.
I do for her.
Again, they chose for this to happen. I want to say it was somebody in my Discord the other day that basically commented on that exact thing, where it's just getting so tiring that all they have is, you're forcing me to do this. When in reality, it all boils back down to, you chose for these actions to happen, which result in pregnancy. How is that me forcing you by voting for the sysmortions, the fetus deletuses, to be not a public funded or even a legal thing? It's time for accountability to come back for men and women. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not going to be calling out just women on my channel. I am all about equality, true equality, because women and men have their rights, have their right places in life. And we need to get back to those places so that we actually understand what reality consists of.
remove it so she doesn't have to give her body to somebody else she doesn't want to.
So you just contradicted yourself then. If you say it's not a moral
No, I'm not. Right. Because if I
said it's not a moral issue for you.
Listen,
Hey, stop interrupting.
If I have to put it into, if I have
Remember,
to put
John,
it
you're not
into
allowed to
a
interrupt.
moral
They can interrupt.
statement, then I'm going to tell you that your morals are fucked by telling somebody and forcing a woman to sustain another being with their blood, organs, and tissues.
Again, it comes back to that same thing. You're forcing a woman to sustain. No. The only way that it's forced is by a illegal act, and that is illegal, which means it is held to a different standard. Dave, let's be real, it's mostly women. Yeah, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but like I said, I'll be calling out men and women because I've seen it my entire life, right? Even when I was a young kid, before the women took it on themselves to be just like men, I saw the degeneracy and the bullshit of men, right? So I'm not going to necessarily say that women are the problem, but it is becoming to the point where I'm starting to lean that way, which is disgusting. Hey, Mrs. D, good to see you. Speaking of a mother, happy Mother's Day. It's good to see you. Thank you very much for the engagement, and thank you very much for what you do for the next generation, Mrs. D. If you have not checked out the Rattlesnake TV, definitely check that channel out too. Good people over there as well. Happy Mother's Day to all of Tater Nation mamas. Thank you very much, Mrs. D, for the engagement again. Hardwire says, yeah, equality, same activities make it so it's no longer about equality, though. They don't stop till some have more rights than others. Women have far more protections now than men do. Let alone the fact that they have all sorts of how many men's homes do you see out there? How many battered men assistance programs do they have out there? I think there's like one comparatively to the hundreds of women's supports. I'm not saying that women don't need the support by all means, right? Men are stronger than women. We need one for every 100. But that would mean we need, 500 of them of ours? So there's definitely needs to be more of men's support out there. But it is Mother's Day, so I'm talking about mainly mothers today, of course. Happy Mother's Day to all the Tato mamas. Hardwire, are you starting to get a little sloshed?
I don't base my opinion on abortion on my morals or my lack of morals or whatever the fuck it is. I don't.
Well, that's
as simple as that. But if you want me to respond to you in a moral manner, then I'm going to tell you your morals are shot by forcing pregnancy.
So if hypothetically, if this was like Handmaid's Tale or some shit, then yes, I would understand and I would agree that it would be messed up to force the pregnancies, to force the next generation into the existence. But that's not what's happening. It's not like women are out there like literally like, oh my God, no, I can't do that. I don't like men. No, they're out there porking as many times as they can. I don't know if people still use the word porking anymore. I'm an old person, but long story short, women used to be the ones that were prude, the ones that were reserved, the ones that held themselves to a higher standard. So why isn't it that way anymore? Dave says, my wife batters me. No, she doesn't. That's funny. Hardwire, I don't mean to not sound manly, but my first wife was 99 pounds soaking wet and used to beat the shit out of me. Why? Because she knew I wouldn't hit her back. And that's so this is where it gets really finicky for me, because I don't, self-defense is a thing, and it's not necessarily always a conscious thing for me. I had a girl that would throw things at me, and one day she tried to slap me, and I caught her hand, and she tried to slap me with the other hand, and I caught her hand, and then she tried to knee me in the nuts. And before I knew it, open-handed, not proud of this by any way, shape, or form, but open-handed, I popped her across the face because I was tired of it. She needed to wake up, I guess. And not hard. Not proud of it, guys. I'm not proud of it. Not proud of it. It's just what it is, right? Again, I live a life because I don't want you to live the same life. I'm trying to advise people against this kind of shit, right? And it is just that shit. I'm not proud of it, guys. But she fell and she bruised her tailbone on, I think it was a railroad tie that was sitting on the ground. So I didn't cause a bruise, but there was a bruise that was caused. So I will be behind Hardwire in this and say, don't hit. If you can avoid it, don't hit. Walk away, get out of this situation, remove yourself from the situation as fast as you possibly can. But ladies, if you're going to start causing violence, you got to be prepared for the violence to come back at you, because we can't just sit there and just take it, because there's a lot of potential of unaliving that happens when women start to get mad.
Okay, so no, it is a moral discussion. So pro-choice versus pro-life.
You want to force the moral discussion. I don't care about your morals. Your morals.
Oh, come on, let me out.
No. It's not about. No. Listen, it's about your morals, because you're saying a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy because of X, Y, and Z. Now that X, Y, and Z is going to make it a that X, Y, and Z is going to make it a moral issue.
With her blood, organs, and tissues. This has nothing to do with fucking morals and everything to do with bodily integrity and giving our resources to somebody else.
Is part of
that
morals.
X, Y, and Z is going to make
Don't have to do it in any other circumstance, and I'm certainly not going to be obligated to do it in pregnancy.
Yeah, exactly, Hardwire. He says, when I went to jail, there were a lot of men there that said my woman was beating me, and I called the cops, and they took me to jail. The law protects women, and don't believe men. Women always use that. And I know that a lot of cases in domestic violence, or DV, I don't know if I can even say that on YouTube. It's ridiculous. But anyway, long story short, when there's a DV case, they have to arrest someone. And so I would say 100% of the time, 99% of the time, it's going to be the man, because we're stronger. We have the ability to walk away. But again, coming from somebody that's dealt with this, I have tried to remove myself from the situation, and they follow, right? And they just behind you, smacking you and throwing stuff at you. So again, women, I'm going to be calling out men, but ladies, it's not okay for you to hit us first. Ever.
Yeah, but if you can't name a distinction that is intrinsic to the fetus and the child, that is a morally relevant
to name something, because that's what that is the response that you want to hear, and I'm not giving you the response that you want to hear.
No, you can't. It's not just because you don't want to give me the response you don't want to hear.
John's getting upset. I can hear it.
Offer. You cannot.
I don't base my opinion on abortion in fucking morals.
You cannot tell me the difference in value between.
What don't you understand about the
Give me
morals
pictures of Spider-Man.
What? Don't stop unmuting when I mute you. Stop until I tell you to unmute. So you will be dropped.
So again, I haven't used this particular program that they're talking about, so I don't know if you can unmute yourself. But if they try to mute me and I'm talking, I'm just going to unmute myself. If I were to be on this side, why would you think I would respect your authority if you're going to be like that? Again, if you can't handle it, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, however it goes, right? All right, so a few things that I've dug into, like I had mentioned, I want to talk about basically the rates of abuse in the public school system. So public school, daycare, we need to get away from the ideas as much as possible, right? Public school is publicly funded, so there's some people that can't afford to homeschool. We can't, in this day and age, the two-income household is basically unavoidable. We really can't get away from that. But when I was doing some research in the last couple days, I found, 5 stories about abuse or something along those lines in schools in the last 2 months, not even 2 months, a month. From the beginning of April to today, there have been 5 cases of mismanagement in schools and daycares. Hardwire says, when I was married, the first time I had a mullet and my wife would grab my hair and I would drag her trying to walk away, and she would say, "You ain't walking away from me," and they usually won't let you. Exactly. So where we do have the capability of removing ourselves from the situation, it's not always as easily done as it is said, right? Vosh Schmidt says, but Tater, the kitchen is where they're supposed to be. Yeah, that's why I laughed when I said it. Get out of the fire and into the kitchen. How about that? Hardwire says, I may be getting a few down. I'm running out of foo-foo wine coolers. I have to switch to liquor, but I do have to work tomorrow. Better stop. It's going to be a fun stream tonight if you're going to be watching his stream there. All right, so the first story that I have to discuss with you on these incidences, and I'm not going to necessarily read them. I'm just going to go into just the intros of each of these. This one was done on published April 3rd of 2026. So I'll just basically go in order. So as of the April 3rd, 2 women, but it's always men, they say. It's only 10%, they say. So this is the thing, guys. This is why I will always be behind homeschooling. I understand that that's not a feasible concept for most of people, maybe even less than most of people. But anybody that can, I highly recommend homeschooling as much as possible. Because in the public school system, you run into these kind of things. So 2 women who taught at a high school near Phoenix are accused of misconduct with the same student. Both teachers were placed on administrative leave in August 2025 after the allegations came to light. One resigned and the other was fired by the school board. Interesting that one had to be fired. I'm curious if they tried to stay and had to be forcibly removed. The teachers could soon face charges after police submitted the cases to prosecutors on Thursday. So again, 2 women in a public school accused of misconduct. This next one is done April 14th. So a few days after that. This happened on April 2nd. But it was in Avon, I guess, this child care center. So Connecticut's Office of Early Childhood and Development of Children and Families are investigating the Avon daycare where an employee was charged with misconduct, state's officials say. So I've read through this. It says Jan Carlos. So this one could be male. It sounds like it could be male more than likely. So again, I'm not just directing it at women, but we need to be allowing women to be stay at home as much as possible so that they don't have to force their children out of the home. They're home for them the majority of the day so that they can be there to protect them, to care for them, to understand them, to get to know them on a deeper level. Hardwire says men get a really bad rap, but in all my experience, women are typically the evil one. I'm sure that there are bad men, but women do not get the credit they deserve for being evil. Where I don't disagree with you, and I actually, where I agree with you fully, basically, on that one. Like I said, I've seen my fair share of bad men. I have. I have seen my fair share of bad women, but I have a couple of very close females that single moms now, because their baby daddies are absolute pieces of shit. So where I do agree with you, that majority could very easily be women these days, I have seen a lot of bad men, and I'm sorry, I'm really tired of it. So we need to be calling out each other as much as we call out the other sex as well. Since Adam and Eve, women have always been the bad influence, evil bad influence. Hardwire, yeah. Can't disagree with you on that one, unfortunately. All right, so the next story, this one was done or published or updated on May 5th, so just a few days ago. This one is federal investigations targets LAUSD's handling of teachers accused of misconduct. So even the handlers of the handlers, we have to have worries for. The U.S. Department of Education announced a civil rights investigation into the Los Angeles Unified Schools District's policy to reassign instead of firing teachers of misconduct with students. Department of Education officials said LAUSD had policies that appear to automatically reassign teachers accused of misconduct with students, including engaging in exploitive romantic relationships to another school. So they're not firing these fucking people. I'm sorry for my pardon my French. They're not firing them. They're just moving them to another school. I'm sorry. What just fucking said? I'm sorry. Isn't that something that we've had in the past and we've tired of it? Like, we were obviously tired of it because it stopped happening because we called it out. So why is it happening again in our schools? Fucking ridiculous. Wild stuff, guys. Let's see. Heaven Max says all of the good women I know that aren't taters are above about double my age. LOL. Fair enough. That aren't taters, well, they need to become taters. You need to get them into the Tater Nation. Tater Nation! Elric the brother, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the chat. Don't think it is so much that women are the bad influence as it is. They have an incredible amount of sway over men, and therefore any bad influence is more noticeable and ends up reflecting on men. Very profound, Elric. Never cease to amaze me on your intellect sometimes. He is in my Discord, has some seriously deep conversations with people. If you're not part of the Discord, please join the Discord. Dave, so I am a piece of garbage if I beat my wife once in a while. Oh, goodness. He's not serious, guys. He's not serious. He doesn't actually do that. Chaos Theory, I had to pop in and say the French was fantastic. Wait, what? I'm missing something, I think. Good to see you too, Alec. All right. So, again, if the people that are supposed to be taking care of things are just moving pieces around instead of getting them off of the board, we need to be getting them out of those positions for sure. Hey, Bandit, good to see you, man. Hey, Potato and Crew, thank you very much for the engagement and the view. All right, let's see. All right, so won't necessarily read much more of that. The next one is from Arkansas. So it was published May 5th. So again, the same day as this one was. I don't think it's the same story. Let's see. That was Los Angeles. This one's Arkansas. Yep. So an Arkansas school director was sentenced to 30 days in jail, 120 days of house arrest with electric monitoring and 9 years of probation after prosecutors accused her of being the ringleader of a makeshift child fight club. Mary Tracy Morrison, 51, the owner and director of Delta Institute for the Developing Brain and Engage program in Jonesboro, there we go. Potato, give me a break. Pleaded guilty Monday to 1 count of permitting child abuse and 4 counts of contributing to delinquencies of juvenile. And this is apparently the lovely, I can't say young woman, the lovely older woman from the Fight Club. What's the number 1 rule of Fight Club? Let's see. Chaos Theory. Tater, you swore and said, pardon my French, and spoke botched child. I got you now. Pardon my French. Elric says, I agree with you, Heaven Max, but the influence isn't inherently good or bad. Yeah. Actually, a man and a woman are a unit. I would agree the influence is inherently good, but can be corrupted. Yeah, I agree with that. First rule is you don't talk about Fight Club. That's right, Bandit. Don't talk about Fight Club. They might have never known if even nobody had talked about it. So again, these are reasons that we want to be keeping our kids out of public school, or at least do something about our public school system that holds people more accountable than this. So the last story that I have on this subject is child abuse, smacks abuse, probe launched at $40,000 a year New York City preschool after staff didn't immediately report the claim. So it's not just the fact that this happened at a posh Upper East Side daycare and preschool that costs up to $40,000 a year. It is under investigation in connection to an alleged allegation that a student was abused by a staff member. And of course, those livid parents claim the administration kept them in the dark for more than a week. So this preschool serves ages 3 months to 5 years old. And a staff member has been accused. And it was hidden for over a week. So again, where is the protection of our kids? Where is the next generation being held to a ability to have a higher standard, a higher understanding of what reality is? Right? So a daycare can supervise children, a school can educate children, but neither one really replaces deeply involved parents, especially in early childhood. Children need structure. They need emotional bonding, security, guidance, and the pattern recognition from adults who know them personally. When a mother can stay at home with their child and actually get to know their child, they can understand them on a deeper level. Those understandings can give them something that no one else can. Mothers are often the first people to notice things such as behavioral changes, fear, anxiety, withdrawal, signs of something feeling off, right? The mother is going to be the one that is going to be the nurturer. They're the ones that they're going to be able to talk to more easily, more readily. They're going to be able to explain their fears and their anxieties. And that connection, that matters a lot, right? But we can't have that connection if you're at work 40 hours a week, 7 days a week. I understand that's only 5, but it seems like more and more, the more we work, the more we have to work. We don't save anymore. We spend what we make. What is it? 40 to 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, if not more than that. I know I do for the most part, right? I have a fairly decent job. I own my own company, but because of that, I have to wait for checks to come. So I do basically work paycheck to paycheck. But most teachers and daycare workers are very good people, and they're trying their best to help our children. But institutes have limits, right? Institutions only can have one teacher for what, 20, 30 students? Or sometimes have multiple toddlers at once in a daycare. That cannot realistically provide the same level of emotional awareness as a loving parent at home. And when systems become overwhelmed, well, with overstaffing, the burnout that you inevitably have with 40-hour a week, 60-hour a week work weeks, or oversight happens. Rushed hiring and weak accountability. We have too many chiefs and not enough engines, right? I could be a bad thing to say, but that is what it is. We don't have enough people that are telling people what to do, or we have too many people telling people what to do, and there's not enough people on the bottom level in order to actually make it work. But children then become more vulnerable. And that doesn't mean homeschooling is the only answer, of course, because again, we live in a day that you have to have 2 incomes in order to make it. You can't have a homeschooling on 2 incomes. But it means parents staying deeply involved matters more now than ever before, right? The parents being at home, the mother taking care of them as much as they possibly can. If they're not able to stay at home, they should be involved in their kid's life as much as possible. Thus meaning they should have as little of time involved in work as possible. Where they do have to go to work, we should be allowing them as much freedom as we can. Let's see. How does it cost $40,000 a year? Are they getting one-on-one supervision? Seriously though, this that $40,000 a year school, I don't know how they charge that. I never went to a private school, so I was kicked out of school in my 8th grade year. Not proud of it. Have a mother that loves me, and so I definitely could have went down a worse road than I did. I guess a little bit of backstory on me. Around the time that Columbine happened, shortly after that, a buddy of mine decided that it was a smart idea to bring firearms to school. He faked a robbery at his parents' house and brought them to school, and was one of my friends. We had open campus, and we left campus to go to the local store, convenience store. And while we were off campus, he showed me these firearms, and being a kid of, Boy Scouts and that, it was exciting to see these firearms. And so I went along with it. He then shoved them into my bag. We went back to school. So again, this is not something I'm proud of, something that I learned some valuable lessons from. Something I don't recommend for anybody to have happen. But I took them through the day in my backpack till about lunch. And at lunch, another kid came along and removed them from my backpack. And in so doing, he recocked one of them. Now, that means that there was a fully live round in the chamber from the time that I took possession of them till the point where I gave them over. That whole time, I could have very easily damaged myself, damaged anything that was around me because that was in my backpack jumbling around. So again, something I don't recommend for anybody to go through, but something for the parents to be aware of. Where my parents couldn't have understood or known that this was happening until after the fact, and I got the cops called on me and I went to juvenile for it. The one that was accountable for it, the one that took them from the parents' house, they could have been more attentive to him, right? But yeah, so again, I live a life that I don't recommend. I've done some things that I look back on and I don't necessarily regret, because I try to live a life without regret. But unfortunately, we all have things, well, maybe not all. I do. I have things that I'm not proud of, right? All right, so let's see. Bandit says the solution is removing safety nets. People are playing the game, trying to bring in more over the norms versus being the norm and using the safety net when needed. Exactly. Yep. We need to remove a lot of the safety nets and allow Darwinism to take back over, right? Let me see if I can find. It's probably not going to be easy to do. Anyway, Real Rain, you're older than me. Are you guys talking about Elric? I'm curious who's older than you. Heaven Max says, when I was 12, I went to camp. You can read it on my blog post. Well, that was very anticlimactic. I don't know where your blog post is. Jeez. So the reality of abuse and neglect, one of the hardest truths in society is this, right? Most abuse happens where children are vulnerable and adults can gain that unsupervised authority. Sometimes that's in schools. Sometimes that's in daycares. Sometimes that's in sports programs, right? And researchers have repeatedly found that many children never report abuse at all. Why? Right? Why is that? Well, the fear of punishment, the feeling of confusion. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand what the teacher, the adult is doing for them, to them. They don't understand what grooming is, or think adults won't believe them when they tell them. But that also comes again into the fact that the mothers need to be in their child's lives very closely and attentively so they can understand what might be off when that child gets quiet. Children who have strong parental attachments, especially strong communication with mothers, are often better at recognizing and reporting said dangers because they trust someone that they can talk to. Now, here's where things get uncomfortable, right? Modern economies increasingly require both parents working just to survive. Right? We've talked about this on multiple occasions. We can't just have one income household anymore. That's why I'm trying to do multiple incomes under my own name. I own my own company. I'm trying to get this business with the podcast going. So I would really like to be a sole provider for my mother, or for my wife, the mother of my kids. I would really like to have a mother of my children someday. But I understand that in order to have what I would like to have in life, I have to drive and become something with multiple incomes. So if you're not able to have multiple incomes under your own name, and I may not be able to either, right? This may not happen for me. So I may be going back to just an hourly job or something like that. So both parents may still have to work with housing costs exploding like they are. Where I was a kid and I used to be able to pick up a home for under $100,000. Right? It was brand new home. I mean, it was a spec home. Wasn't anything special. But I want to say it was like $75,000 for this brand new home when I was looking at them. At the time, I was making $12, $13 an hour, which minimum wage was about $5.25 an hour at the time, I think. So it was a feasible thing. Now you're looking at $500,000 for a brand new home, like minimum. You can't make that. You can't do that off of $12 or $13 an hour anymore. So the cost of food rising. How many things in the store are just triple, quadruple? How much more than we remember them when we were younger, right? Before even the 2019 stuff happened. For example, I was in, I'm not a parent, so I don't know much about, diapers and things like that. But when I was working at Lowe's, a sheet of OSB was like $9 and some change. When I left there, it was during the height of the C stuff. I don't even know what you can say anymore. But when I left, it was like $30 a sheet. I want to say it went up to $60 a sheet for that. And now we're down to maybe $15 or $16 a sheet. So it never went down, never went back to where it was. Now, in construction, if you want to understand how much it's going to cost, you look at OSB, because that's basically, I've been told that that's the driving factor of construction, is basically the OSB, because it has to be done on every single building. I could be wrong. I don't know. But with the driving, or the increase, the explosion of prices, communities weaken. Extended families disappear. People start to leave and go elsewhere. That doesn't give you the people to lean on for your raising of your kids anymore. And many mothers are then forced into impossible choices. Career, finances, or childcare, exhaustion, guilt, survival, right? All of those things have weigh on their mind, because with a career, you either go to work and you work your life away, barely able to spend any time with your kids, or you don't go to work and your finances suffer because of the 2-income households that we have to have these days. And then society turns around and says, why are kids struggling emotionally? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Well, maybe because raising emotionally healthy children, human beings, takes time. Real time. Not just screens, not just institutions, not just tablets and algorithms babysitting your children. It's human time, human connection, presence, and attention from the mother and the father. And mothers have historically been one of the central emotional anchors in that process. Let's see. I will be 50 later this year, day after Halloween. In fact, I was born on All Hallows Eve. Holy cow! Right on 50 years old. You old fart. Let's see. Potato. Let's see. Heaven Max with that was a Jim Bob joke. His last debate, his interlocutor every time would say that for an answer during cross examination. Nice. That's funny. Hey, Beatrix. Appreciate you dropping in. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat. Just noticed you. Appreciate the engagement. Potato dropping truth bombs. I try. I try to speak the truth. Somebody's got to, right? Have kids young, encourage kids to have kids young, encourage multi-generational households. Yeah, we need more kids. We need the next generation needs to be stronger than it is. We need more kids. During the vid, 2x4s were 4 times the price and everything stopped. Jobs stopped coming in on my industry. Yeah. Heaven Max, that's just it. It was funny because I was working 3 jobs during the pandemic, and I didn't slow down. I didn't stop. I said, let's go. Balls to the walls, let's go, right? And a lot of the people around me did stop. They stopped doing work, and we're outside, like construction, we're outside. Where I was going into people's homes, I didn't even stop. I'd take precautions. I'd do what I had to do to make sure that I was safe, but I would still continue with my work because I can't afford to stop. I'm too broke for that. But, yeah, Dave says, I have one of those households. Now, the multi-generational households, I'm somewhat part of it. I moved away. And then I had to move back because my parents were needing to refinance their home. I needed to do some work on their home for them to be able to get them to refinance. Since then, I got stuck. Basically, what it boils down to is the year that everything flooded, my parents' house flooded with the dairy, from the dairy up the way. So it flooded with manure water and displaced me. So I've been working on getting myself back up and into a position where I can survive on my own again. So I've been kind of stuck with my parents. I don't want to say stuck with my parents as in like I don't like my parents, but it's like I live on the property to help them as much as help myself. And I do a lot for my parents. I don't want it to ever come across that I'm living off of my parents, because that's not the case at all. I support my parents to a certain extent. So the generational homes I do agree with to a certain extent. We talked about that on one of my open panels at one point in time. And I think that we need to be destigmatizing that a little bit more and help people understand that living with your parents isn't a fucking problem in this day and age. Hardwire says, everything has gone up in price the last few years, and here I am worked at the same place 3.5 years and no raise. Lame. That is fucking lame, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. They need to get on that shit. I do too. I need to get a raise. You need to pay me more. Yeah, well, you need to do more work. About the extent of it, I guess. Justice Shepard says, Dave, that's awesome. We wanted that, but the kids' spouses didn't agree. Fair enough. Justice Shepard, appreciate the engagement. Don't know if I've seen you in the chat. I know that you were in there, but anyway, good to see you. Beatrix, I bought the feminist lie, had kids in my 30s. My parents were unhealthy and now they're gone. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you had kids though. Like I said, I still haven't had kids, so props to you, Beatrix. I appreciate I don't know if I've told you lately, you're a good one. I appreciate you being here all the time. Let's see. You were displaced by poo? That stinks. True that. Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, long story short, it was insane. Beatrix says, again, multi-generational home. I had to live with my grandma and had to help her do things she couldn't. Helped me be more responsible than my kids. Oh, man. Yeah, that's fair. Hope your kids start to shape up, or ship out, right? Something like that. Heaven Max says, it's full circle. They helped you and now you help them. No shame, sir. I appreciate that, Heaven Max. I try to help them. I don't know if I do enough with what I'm doing now because I work a lot. Work 40 hours a week as much as I can for my main job, and then I work this, doing 2 hours on Sunday, 2 hours on Thursday, and then probably, I don't know, 30 hours of prep and editing work. It's nuts. But I wouldn't change it for the world, honestly. I really appreciate the engagement that I've got from you guys. I really appreciate the community that I have with you guys. You help me so much grow in my own life. I'll never be able to explain to you how much I appreciate you. But the day that we live in today with the digital age, right? Children today are growing up in environments humanity was never designed for. The smartphones, the social media, the online predators on those social medias, right? We talked about the Wiz app. We've talked about, what else have we talked about? There's been a lot of things that I've talked with you guys about over the last almost year now, right? I've been doing this for almost a year, uploading videos and doing my lives. And in that time, we've covered a lot of degeneracy. And that degeneracy, honestly, would probably be a lot less if we were just to allow parents the freedom to be parents again. The mothers to be at home raising the next generation. You know, women are supposed to be better at STEM and better at book smarts and things like that than men are. If that's not for the workforce, then what is it? That's to train the next generation of workforce. Who better to train the next doctors than people that understand more than the doctors do? This algorithm addiction that we have nowadays is causing isolation, and a constant digital stimulation is causing a brain rot. And honestly, one of the strongest protections a child can still have is the engaged parents who know what their child watches, who they talk to, how they behave emotionally, and when something suddenly changes, a mother who notices because she spends time with them. My child isn't acting the same. That awareness matters more than people will ever realize. This is not about perfection, right? It's about understanding your kids on a deeper level. No mother is perfect. No father is perfect. Parenting is very hard. I wouldn't know because I don't have kids, but I have had a lot of experience with nieces and nephews. My parents ran a daycare for a little while. It's exhausting. It's terrifying at times. But civilization survives because ordinary parents continue to try anyway. And frankly, society should probably respect motherhood way more than it currently does. Because without stable families and protected children, nothing really matters for very long. Not politics, not technology, not economic growth. None of it. If we don't have that next generation to hand off to, what are we doing? Hey, JB, welcome in, man. Appreciate the engagement for the last little bit that I've got of my stream. Can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you guys. Again, as people come in, appreciate you so much. And the engagement that I get from you guys. Let's see. Beatrix says, I need to make them weed the garden with their dad. Yeah, yeah, you do. They need to do that for you for Mother's Day, if nothing else. Yeah, TikTok is garbage, man. I appreciate you being here, as always. And YouTube is definitely a better experience than TikTok as far as I'm concerned, for sure. Yeah, appreciate that, JB. Hit the like button because I'm not gay. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. I appreciate you guys so much. I was a single dad. I get no credit for that. Raised 2 kids myself and dealing with horrible women. It was really tough. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, single dads, salute to you guys for sure. Being that it's Mother's Day, I'd try not to, take it off the highlight for the mothers. We're definitely doing a special on Father's Day for you guys because you guys are the real ones. But yeah, mothers, especially stay-at-home mothers, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate what sacrifices you give. Those that are not stay-at-home mothers, I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you do. Even though you don't sacrifice as much, you're still sacrificing so much to give that next generation a chance. Potatoes grow best when their roots stay healthy and connected underground, kind of like children. The potato fact of the week. Haven't done those in a minute. I appreciate you guys so much. I can't tell you that enough. That's kind of all I had for my stream. It's just about that 2-hour mark. Being that it is Mother's Day, I don't want to keep you guys tied up for too long. Seriously, though, this is what keeps me going, guys. This community means more to me. I'll shut up. Right? But we seriously need our stay-at-home moms again, if we can. So men, if you're seeing this, do what you can to allow the woman to stay at home as much as she possibly can. The women that are watching this, allow your man to do what he can to give you that life. Stop fighting us so much. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. All of you. Single moms included. But you don't get an excuse. We need to start getting back to the family unit again. So the women that are still with their husbands, props. The women that are stay-at-home, double props. But a society does not treat mothers as disposable. It does not treat parenting as meaningless labor. And it does not pretend institutions can fully replace loving families. Schools matter. Teachers matter. But deeply involved parents matter so much more. Especially when children are young and vulnerable. And maybe one of the biggest mistakes modern civilization makes is undervaluing the people quietly holding families together every single day. And that is our mothers. So, Hardwire says, my daughter, what the fuck am I thinking? My daughter always tells me Happy Mother's Day. She says I was her mom and dad. Fair enough. No worries. Get back to Tater. I'm working on my daughter's first car. I just bought her. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hope she enjoys it. Hope she treats it well. We definitely need to get back to the understanding of a value of $1, the value of things being given to you, right? I feel I reached a rough patch thinking dark things, and the YouTube community brought light back into my life. I appreciate all of you too. I'm glad to hear that, Hardwire. It's crazy how much a online community can change your your point of view. It's for sure. Thank you, guys. And again, yeah, if you like what you see, please, any contribution would be so much appreciated. Focus on the word. People are getting out of control these days. They forgot where our roots are, the word. I agree with that. And on that note, thank you very much for that reminder. Those of you that are in my Discord, will be having our first, finally, Bible read on Monday evening. I believe I'm probably going to end up having it about 8 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time. We'll be starting with Genesis. Would like to see as many of you there as we can. Again, like JB is saying, focus on the word. We need to be focusing more on Christ and the word. Now, where I will be taking more of a secular view as much as I can, like I'd mentioned when I first started my channel, I'm taking more and more of a Christian stance. I do want to point out that I am a influencer as far as Christianity goes, but my creations of my content isn't Christian related or Christian focused as much as degenerate focused, right? I just want to fight back against the secularism. But whenever you flip open that book and you start to try to preach to people, they shut you down, right? They shut you off. So I'm trying to take a little bit of a different route. But I appreciate every one of you. And again, if you want to be part of that Bible study, please join my Discord. And I would love to have you there. If you're just joining the Discord, you might not have access. So please get a hold of me if you do join the Discord. Heaven Max says, yes, and to add to this, the word is God, not just a book. Go to the liturgy, folks. Christ is risen. Christ is the word, not Christ and the word. Christ is the word, not Christ and the word. Yeah. Thank you, Dave, for posting that. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything that I have to say. I'll shut up and let you enjoy your Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day, everybody. All the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Even those that just have pets, right? You're still taking care of something. Happy Mother's Day. For now, please take care of yourselves out there. Remember those Second Amendment rights, as I always tell you, because your response time will always be faster than that of the police. Keep an eye on your neighbors. You never know what they are going through. Be kind. Always. Right? Be kind. Outside of the United States, please take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. Because your rights seem to be disappearing like they're going out of style, and I don't like seeing that. So stop it. And take care of yourselves. And as always, Christ is God. Christ is the King of Kings and always will be. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with me, like Brian in the, on the whatever says. And I thank you so much for that. And of course, the potato. Signing off, guys. Have a good one. Come on. There we go. All right.
I watch my father's hands, one thin but steady strong, building something lasting while the world moved on. He said, son, don't chase what fades away. Build your name in deeds, not what people say. Now I stand where he once stood, trying to do what a good man should. Integrity is all we have, the fire inside our chest. Without it, we are hollow, we are less than our best. I'll make my father proud, children right, stand for what's good and keep my between the